While we've heard of many UFO sightings and encounters in the modern world, what many don't know is that even in ancient times, these strange occurrences have happened and even been recorded by our ancestors. These next stories offer possible evidence that UFO sightings have happened throughout history. Here are 5 incredible UFO sightings from ancient civilizations. Number 5. Ancient Egypt and the Tulli Papyrus. Described as the first written account of a UFO sighting, the Tulli Papyrus is both mysterious and controversial. It was first discovered in the 18th century by Vatican Museum director Alberto Tulli. It's said that while it isn't the original, the content was copied from an ancient papyrus that Alberto found while inside an antique shop. Since he didn't have the means to purchase it and thought it was too expensive, he copied it using hieroglyphics instead of the original hieratic script that was written down. Even though skeptics doubt its authenticity because it was a copied form and not the original itself, they nevertheless found the content to be intriguing. Prince Boris de Reichswelt was the first to translate the text, and he declared it to belong to those of ancient Egyptian military records. Currently, there are 2 main translations of the text. The first is from Prince Boris, and the second from anthropologist R. Cedric Leonard. They both bear a similar interpretation, saying that in the year 22, in the 3rd month of winter, they saw a fiery disk in the sky. It was described as having no head and emitting a foul odor from its mouth. There was no voice and was about the size of 1 rod in length and height. Those who saw the disk were confused and fell to their bellies, and then went to the king to report what they had seen. The king then ordered for the annals of the House of Life to be consulted, hoping to find answers as to what was happening. After several days, they saw the fiery disks begin to grow in numbers and shone much brighter than the sun. They were so numerous that they covered much of the sky. A little after the evening meal, the disk began to ascend higher and head south. Without warning, the disk rained down fish and other items, a sight that the people had obviously never seen or experienced before. Afterwards, the king ordered incense to be burned to help appease Uman-Ra, who was known as the god of 2 lands, and to have the incident be recorded. It is, of course, open to interpretation, but could this be one of the most ancient UFO encounters ever recorded? Number 4. India's Vimanas. Perhaps the most concise and vivid depiction of flying ships and vehicles seen during the ancient times are those chronicled in ancient Indian text. The word Vimana is now commonly accepted to mean a form of aircraft, but it also bore several other meanings in ancient Sanskrit, including a palace fit for an emperor that was usually 7 stories high. It was a mind-controlled vehicle, and literally the word meant measuring out or traversing. Mention of Vimanas are found in various ancient Indian texts, including the Vedas, the Ramayana, and the Mahabharata. These flying machines were used to transport the gods throughout the heavens, and they could travel various distances using propulsion technology in mercury or quicksilver. A Vimana also has amazing maneuvering skills and can fly in any direction with ease. Furthermore, these are sometimes classified into further types. First, there are those that travel from one place to another. Second, there are those that travel from one country to another. And third, those that travel from one planet to another. They can vary from a disc shape to that of a cigar, both of which are commonly reported by various modern UFO witnesses. According to one sacred text, the pilot had to learn 32 secrets in order to be able to fly a Vimana. Aside from being used for transport, they were also eventually used for war. Ancient Indian literature states that the advanced city of Rama used their Vimanas to fight similar flying crafts from Atlantis. In the text, it's noted that the Atlanteans also had their own flying vehicles, and they were called a Velixi. Some of these vehicles were even fitted with missiles rivaling the current modern weapons we have in terms of destructive power and function. The idea of sophisticated flying machines in ancient times might seem unbelievable, and many do argue that these texts are nothing more than just ancient folklore. However, for many, these serve as written history and are believed to be factual accounts. It's worth noting that flying machines were also mentioned in the Hakattha, which is the law of the Babylonians. It's said that the privilege of operating a flying machine is great. It goes on to say that the knowledge of flight was a gift given from upon high as a means of saving lives. Number 3. Temple of Osiris in Abydos. Known as the Hill of Symbol and Reliquary, Abydos is considered one of the most ancient sites in Upper Egypt. It's believed this same area houses the tomb of Osiris, who is the god of the undead in the underworld. Perhaps the best known structure in the area is that of the Temple of Seti I. It's also called the Great Temple of Abydos because it bears plenty of beautiful and well-preserved sculptures alongside having a unique design and serving as a dedication to the 7 gods. This structure is thought to have 7 chapels that coincide with the worship of each one of the gods. Meanwhile, behind the temple is a structure that's been dubbed as the Osirion because it's believed to be a worship area for Osiris. The most unusual thing found in this area is the unique reliefs found by archaeologists in 1848. A partial relief located close to the beam of the structure of the Temple of Seti I depicts what looks to be modern flying machines, something that would have been non-existent during ancient times. Known as the helicopter hieroglyphic, many UFO and ancient alien enthusiasts believe it's an out-of-place aircraft and serves as proof that ancient man was in contact or at least witnessed UFO sightings. One, for instance, resembles a modern cargo helicopter, complete with the correct body shape and what looks to be rotor blades on the top and the tail. Close to it are other depictions of modern vehicles, including a zeppelin, a glider, and what looks to be a jet of some sort. This has led people to believe that ancient Egyptians were in contact with aliens or at least had seen such machinery during their time. Otherwise, why else would they record such objects? It's a compelling argument, but there are people who remain unconvinced that UFO sightings or encounters happened at all, and that these are mere hieroglyphic typos. Regardless of what you believe, there's no denying that one look at the image and your mind easily drifts to the thought of it being a modern machine. Realizing that this was created thousands of years ago just makes the thought even more mysterious. Number 2. Mahabharata. Considered as one of the longest epic Sanskrit texts in India, the Mahabharata continues to remain a compelling manuscript that chronicles not just wisdom to last through the ages, but even possible UFO sightings and alien interaction. Some of the more fascinating stories found in this epic text is that of the Vimanas, the attack on the city of Dwarka, which involved a flying city, unique ancient weapons, projectiles, and more. As mentioned, Vimanas served as transportation for the gods. It can easily perform feats that even a supersonic jet made today still has trouble doing. The Mahabharata also tells stories of unique weapons that are technologically advanced. There are approximately 46 different weapons named in the entire epic. Some of these are similar to the type we have today. This includes Vishnu's guided missiles that detects anything in motion. Another is a heat-seeking weapon that can detect other aircrafts. There's also a vehicle that features stealth capabilities as well. Even more compelling is the ultimate weapon called the Brahmastra. It's described as being so dangerous that it will burn everything in its path and is likened to a nuclear bomb in our modern world. Even more, these weapons weren't just a human creation, but instead made from information given by deities and half-deities, essentially aliens. Not only did these non-human groups aid humans, but they also provided advice and helped to build thriving advanced city like Dwarka. So is it just folklore? Or are these an actual record on how humans once had access to advanced technology because of their interactions with extraterrestrial beings? Number 1. Rome and Livy's phantom ships. If Egyptians chronicled accounts of encounters with mysterious fiery discs, it's no surprise that thousands of years later the Romans would also do the same. Romans were known to be very meticulous with their history and records, ensuring many of the events happening were verified multiple times before being put on paper and recorded. One Roman historian, Titus Livius Patavinus, more well known as Livy, made a brief but significant mention of a possible UFO sighting. Livy was somewhat of a celebrity academic during his era, and his accounts of various crucial phenomena in Rome were distinct. During 214 BC, he chronicled several details about what was happening in ancient Rome during the cruel winter. In one of the pages, he writes about witnessing phantom ships gleaming in the sky. The odd thing is that after this brief, baffling mention of phantom ships, he goes on to write about phenomenons that seemingly have no connection with what he witnessed. Nobody knows for sure whether he mentioned the phantom ships as a literal observation or whether he was speaking metaphorically of something else. However, the fact remains it wasn't just him who recounted seeing these ships. It's clear something significant happened during the time, but as to what exactly, we may never know. Sightings of mysterious objects in the sky aren't unique to Livy's account, as other Roman historians also took note of strange UFOs at different times. The great Plutarch mentioned a possible UFO sighting during a battle in 74 BC. While the forces were fighting one another, he noted that with no apparent change of weather, the sky burst asunder and a huge flame-like body was seen to fall between the two armies. In shape, it was most like a wine jar, and in color, like molten silver. The king himself, along with more than 1,000 other witnesses, also confirmed the story as a fact. Another curious incident chronicled by the scholar Titus Flavius Josephus dates to as far back as the 1st century. The acclaimed Roman historian noted seeing chariots flying over ancient Jerusalem. Titus is known to be a meticulous historian, mainly through his account of the First Roman-Jewish War. Other prominent scholars support what he saw, and what's fascinating with his statement is that he not only described flying chariots, but also recounted troops of soldiers running about among the clouds. Although he used troops of soldiers, many believe he may have used it because he had no idea how else to describe alien ships surrounding the city. These sightings aren't exclusive to legendary historians, as many others claim to have seen mysterious objects floating in the sky, when technology to do such a thing at that time simply didn't exist. So those were 5 incredible UFO sightings from ancient civilizations. The idea of modern flying saucers is puzzling enough, so alien beings visiting our planet in ancient times can simply be incomprehensible. Hopefully it's just a matter of time before we get concrete evidence on what exactly it is so many people throughout history have claimed to have seen. If you like this video, then let us know in the comments and subscribe to our channel so that each week we can bring you a new Scary Mysteries video to check out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.